me before.
Yeah, so we are live now.
Ooh.
And you are very welcome to anybody who hops on and anybody who comes along to watch the replay. My name is Tracy Garrity. I am a personal coach and creator of Be You Bravely online program. And this is Step Into Brave. So I'm back with my live show, but I've changed the title. So rather than facing fears, we are looking at being brave and stepping into our courage. And I am delighted to be joined today by Cynthia Micallef. Did I pronounce that correctly? I meant to ask.
That's perfect.
And Cynthia is an online business mentor, and we met about a month ago. And we've chatted a few times since, and I love sort of the online world where new friends and new connections just pop up seemingly out of nowhere. So I am delighted to have you on today. And I'm going to talk a little bit about insecurity because it's something that I've been talking about a bit lately. And I guess for me, I see that when insecurity comes to town, it often causes us to shrink and it's sort of like we just minimize ourselves down and hide away. So I think it's important to bring it out into the open and talk about it a little bit and see if we can figure out a way to help people. So Cynthia, tell me about your insecurities, or tell me about how insecurity shows up in your life.
Okay, so thank you first of all for inviting me on your page. I'm super excited to have this chat with you. Okay, so insecurity, we all have insecurity. That's the first thing I want to say. We all go through it, and I always went through it, and I still go through it. So it is a daily exercise. It's a daily exercise. So how does it show up? For me, it shows up as frustration. Frustration because I am not getting the results, and probably I'm not getting the results because I'm insecure and I'm not confident. So for me, it shows up as frustration in terms of I cannot move forward, and then I wouldn't know what to do. So I was thinking about this today, about security, and I think I've had a lot of insecurity. Maybe like most of us, I don't know, but from university and so forth, so maybe something that happened when I was young or whatever, I don't know. But when things didn't go my way, especially in businesses, or even actually in when I was in corporate world, because when I was in corporate world, I never gave it my 110% because I always knew I wanted to leave. So maybe that's where also my insecurity started, actually, because I knew that I wanted to do something else. So then the results didn't come. So like the promotions never, not always came my way, and the big bonuses and things like that. And that made me insecure. However, I still went on to start new businesses. I still did that thing, and then I hit a wall until maybe something happened and I became insecure. And then the frustration came up, which like, okay, I don't know what to do, and maybe people don't like me, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, this is a big thing. Maybe I'm not good enough.
Yeah. That's interesting what you said about the corporate, because I worked in corporate for quite some time, and a little bit like that, I think my heart was never fully in it, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't performing as well as other people. But in truth, I just wasn't that interested. I just wasn't that passionate about it. Mm-hmm. But it's funny, isn't it, how when you don't recognize, you see it as insecurity and you see it as a lack of confidence, but it's actually a lack of interest. It's funny.
Totally.
Like that's what it is. You're like, I'm just not that into it.
And it's probably like a sign. I don't mean this in a woo way, but it is probably a sign saying, hello, why is everyone being promoted? That's because probably that's what they really wanted. And it's really interesting, actually. Every time I used to have a meeting with my manager, with my manager, he was always saying, "What? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?" And I'm like, "Gosh, I really don't want to be like you in 5 years."
Yes.
So that should be my answer.
Yeah. I know. It's funny,
And
isn't it?
then probably this is how this insecurity started, because you still say, "Oh, why are they getting promoted?" And also, it's not just the promotion; it's more like more liked in the environment, And I think we get that with us. No, we carry that with us as well.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I guess it's kind of it's bad habit, really. It's a bad habit of thinking. And when you're kind of in that feeling of frustration and insecurity, are you quicker at recognizing it now and kind of seeing it for what it is? Or do you still do you go through a phase of something before you have that light bulb moment of, oh, okay, this is because I'm actually thinking about this, that I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to be able, or like, how long does it take you to see that?
Now it doesn't take me long at all. Now I'm like, I can really switch on to that. I'm not saying that it goes away. It doesn't go away, but I can catch myself. And now I know that if I keep on going, but not necessarily keep on going in the same way, but if I learn, if I really go deeper into what am I doing that it's not working, but not doubting myself, I am not good enough, and all these stories we tell ourselves, right? So I passed through a lot of these times, like I am too short. My accent is, because I spent 20 years in the UK, my accent is not a British accent.
I know, I'm laughing because you're too short. I'm like, well, there's nothing you can do about that. Wear high heels. Yeah, you're stuck with that one.
But I always had this thing in my head, right, that taller people are more successful.
Okay.
And so forth. And I always said, oh, maybe I cannot attract, a large amount of people. That kind of thing that we all go through. We all have these different stories. Basically, we're not good enough. And now I recognize them. Now I'm like, no, like I know that if other people did it, then there are ways, and I can do it as well. It might take time. This is the thing. I think a lot of us are impatient, and especially me, I'm so impatient. I just want the results now. So this is also the thing, actually, because I am so impatient, then if something doesn't happen, like in 5 minutes, if I don't get a client in like the first week, oh, I'm just not good enough. I'm never going to get any clients. Yeah. But now I recognize them.
If you're like me, I go through phases where I'm just throwing all the toys out of the pram, and I just kind of nearly have a temper tantrum, and because I'm just annoyed I'm annoyed at myself ultimately, because the thinking that I'm having is annoying me. It's not anybody else. It's my annoying thinking, and it's you're right in what you say. Like insecurities, even once you recognize that that's what they are, they don't stop coming. But at least you know what they are.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. So I think what helped me in recognizing is being surrounded with people that I can go to, and that are actually passing through the same journey, not necessarily always teachers or coaches. Also when we are going through the same journey, it's really, really helped me, because it's like I put something out there when I'm struggling, feeling I'm not good enough, feeling like I have a high level of insecurity, and immediately the messages come in saying, keep on going, maybe do it this way. And that's, or else, for example, it will happen, I've went through the same process, eventually it will happen if you do enough of this. So that's really, really helps, I think, having like buddies that are going through the same thing.
And that in itself, like, it is so important to have your support network around you, and to get to the point where you are comfortable enough in opening up about vulnerability and saying, I'm actually struggling at the moment, because for a long time I didn't do that. I kept it all internalized because I felt I should be doing better, or I should know better. And and that's That's so wrong. That's, I guess, why I want to talk about it, because there's nobody gets away without having doubtful thinking and questioning themselves and just struggling from time to time. You know, we all, like, we're all mere mortals trying to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you find, Cynthia, helps you? Like, is there anything other than kind of connecting and reaching out to people? Is there anything else that you've kind of found to shake it off?
So for me, it's yoga. It's always been yoga. So I always say yoga is the answer to all my life's problems. Yoga has given me like a really big confidence, not necessarily in a day, but over time. Although if I don't do it, for example, for a few days or a few weeks, and then I do yoga, then it's immediately I feel better. But I've built it for such a long time that it's really given me the confidence. And the reason is, I think, because you just feel so good because you're breathing, right? When you're moving, it's a breath initiated movement, but it's also a mind exercise. When I am doing yoga, it's not necessarily, to lose weight or to get fit or even just to be flexible. It's more than that. So you have the breathing, the meditation in the beginning or the end. And it really helped me in the confidence, like totally it changed. So I just feel really, really good, like when I do a yoga session. And also I'm a yoga teacher as well. So whether actually I teach or whether I do the yogas, I have the same effect. I just feel really, really good. And it really empowers me. And it empowers me to not really care what other people are saying about me or what they think about me. And that minimizes the insecurity.
Do you think that with yoga, because, it is something, I suppose yoga is very spiritual in its nature, in its grounding, and that you're kind of bringing yourself back to your natural state, to that connectedness with your soul? Like it's reconnecting in that space.
Yeah.
And getting out of your head.
Exactly, because you're getting out of your head and you're having that quiet space with you. So even if you're moving, if you're doing yoga, you're doing exercise, you're still going internal. And you're having that, the time between our thinking and our breathing. There's this quiet space, this space of nothingness, I call it. And that really gets us to a level which is out of our head and into our body. And it's really, really powerful. So, and also it doesn't actually depend on the results. So it doesn't depend on how many clients I'm going to get, how many courses I sold, how much money I'm making, but you can still feel good with whatever those results. And that is the power of it.
And that's so important, is to understand that it doesn't matter what is going on. It can be all falling to shit. But what makes us, feel bad or feel good is irrelevant to what's going on outside of us. It's when we're stuck in our personal thinking and getting caught up in giving everything a meaning and, I mustn't be good enough if I'm not, signing enough clients or selling enough. That's what makes us feel bad. It's not the work that's coming or the things that are happening or the reward that we're getting. That's not what makes us feel good or bad. It's our thinking. So totally. When you that's pretty cool.
Exactly. So exactly, we can have, because you can even have a really good week in sales, for example, that you've done really well, and you still don't feel as good as you thought you're going to feel good. So it's more like the journey. And also, if things are not happening our way, and if we're feeling really insecure and really inconfident, then we're going to act out of desperation. And people are going to feel that. It's going to come, the energy, whether it's online or offline, person to person. They can still read the energy, and without being woo or anything, but they can feel the energy. And I know that from experience. So sometimes, I found it hard because I also organize yoga retreats as well here in Spain. And sometimes when in the beginning, I found it hard to sell the spaces of my retreats because I was putting on too many retreats. I was acting out of desperation, and they felt it. It came through. So that didn't happen. There wasn't the flow. So it's really it's really good. This is why I like yoga or any other grounding movements. It's really good to move rather to just like stay stiff. Because it gets the flow, the breath, the flow moving, and then it comes out into how we project ourselves in the world. Basically, that's basically it.
Yeah, that's. I think that's really well put, Cynthia. So when it comes to confidence, then, what do you think confidence is? Because I've always, it's sort of like this elusive thing that, oh, that person is confident, but I'm not, so we think it's a thing. We make it into something. What do you see it as?
I think confidence is not caring what other people are thinking about us, not caring what our family and friends are thinking about us. That's like a big thing that I really hear a lot, especially nowadays when we are being, on social media, active on social media and on our personal Facebook groups and so forth. So like really our closest friends can see what we're doing, what we're talking about. It's a big thing. And it's stepping into our power. So really finding what our strengths are and what our superpowers are and building on them. So whether that is you are good at public speaking, or the opposite, you are like an introvert and you like the analysis and the detail, whatever that is, even you don't think it's like, sexy, you still come into that power. And by doing that, because it's so in line with you, with us, then you are going to be confident. Because it's not, for example, if someone is telling you go live and you absolutely cannot go live, it's not really your thing, then of course you're not going to feel confident, right? Perhaps you need more time, or perhaps you're never going to do it, and that's okay. So it's really finding our strengths, our internal strengths, and I call them the superpowers, and building up on that. Sometimes it might take time to find what it is, but I always say, so every time someone told me, what are your strengths? I couldn't always nail it. But for me, when someone said, what are your superpowers? That was more like, for me, it hit the note more. And it's something that we've always done since we were young, without us knowing. It comes natural to us. So this is something that we need to tap in. And when we tap into that, of course, we're going to be confident, because it's just us, like no one else.
I love that. And what you're talking about, I guess, is the underpinning and the premise for my program, Be You Bravely. It's to help us get to know who we are better, because a lot of people don't know what their superpowers are because they're too busy looking at what everybody else is doing and trying to figure out what they should be doing based on that, basing their hopes and dreams and aspirations and things that, will make them feel really good on something that it's completely external to them, and thinking, well, that's what it looks like, so I should look that way too. So I better mold myself into looking this way, even though I don't feel confident doing it because it feels icky. And I know for me, a lot of the stuff that people do, that you're supposed to do in business and marketing, it just makes me feel icky. I'm like, no, I don't like it. So I don't do it because it's not me, and it does it takes bravery to step up and say, no, that's not for me. If that doesn't fit in, I'm not aligned with that. I just don't feel comfortable with it. I'm going to do this. And everybody else saying, well, you're supposed to do this. Well, I've been told I'm a bit of a rebel anyway. So I tend to kind of, so I think that's really, really important what you said. So if you were to give somebody a piece of advice around getting to connecting with their superpower, because a lot of people are like, I don't know what it is. What would your advice be for that?
What my advice will be, two things probably, is being quiet with yourself. I think we all know it. Deep down, we all know it. And being quiet with ourselves, whether you can call it meditation, you can call it journaling, you can going for a walk on your own for 5-10 minutes per day, because I know we can be disconnected with it. So I was disconnected with it for a long time because of our corporate jobs. You know, our corporate jobs, I just couldn't nail it for like a really long time as well. And then, you know, the children as well takes it away. So I really think being quiet with yourself, then it will tell you whatever it is, it will show you. And perhaps asking your family or your friends how they see you. This could be a thing that if you're blind about yourself, if you cannot get the answers, maybe they can see you, like, how, for example, how do I inspire you? What do you look to me for? Like, and then you probably realize that your friends are always coming to you for the same thing, whether for like personal problems or business problems or some other thing. So this is the thing. So perhaps asking your closest friends and staying quiet, spending time in quiet.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they're actually really, really, really good idea, good tips and advice. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me. We've been chatting for 20 minutes already. I will put all of your contact details in the comments box. So if anybody wants to reach out and connect with you, if they're building a business online and they want some help and advice, they'll be able to contact you through that link. And thank you to everybody who joined in to watch. And if you want to get in contact with me, well, you can do that through my page, Tracy Garrity Coaching. And this is the kind of work that I do is around insecurity and confidence and helping you to be you bravely. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. See you all soon. Thanks for popping on. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.